just making sure that we have persons that coming on, so that we would have viewers that will be on this particular program for this evening.
Okay.
Great. This is our live stream interact take 2. We just had a previous introduction. We're not going to go into that, but we want to welcome you from all parts of the world. Welcome to our Wednesday evening live stream podcast of Interact. So we just want to go back into welcoming our special guest, Miss Maria Chemont, a legend, an icon, in so many areas. So we were just talking to her about, even before going into what she's doing now, we just wanted, Maria, we just wanted you to talk about your career. You've been in so many different areas in your profession and all of that. We want you to just talk about where Maria Chemont came from. Maybe you may just want to talk about who's your family, who's your relative. We always like to know who your relative into mom, because the Chemont, where did that title come from? Things like that, and who's it related to? So that's the friends already. But anyway, welcome, Maria. So we're gonna give it all over to you, and you could just go ahead.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good evening, Roberto and Jeffrey. Thank you all for having me, and good evening, or again, I say greetings to the viewing audience, as a matter of fact, because it's around the world, so it's different timing. So I just would say greeting, and it's a pleasure for me to be along to join you all at this time in this special interview. As mentioned, my name is Maria Chemont, born in St. Maarten, and lived here, went to school on St. Maarten, as well as I attended school in Curacao. I am a retired registered nurse, but as they say, once a nurse, always a nurse. So
that's right.
There's always something to do within the community when it comes to care. So I'm continuing to give care in so many ways and in different areas.
I want to ask you that, because you talk about being a registered nurse, and you can keep the camera on Maria, Jeffrey. You don't have to come back on me. I want to ask you this, Maria, because being a registered nurse over the years, I can imagine you've had a career spanning 20, 30 years?
35 years.
35 years.
For government.
For government. So I wanted, because I'm curious, because when it comes to the healthcare, or let's say a police officer, or let's say a fireman, give me some highlights of moments of experiences that you've been through that you saw that, wow, how did we get through this one? Probably been a patient, maybe through a critical situation or something that you felt it wasn't gonna work, or the person wasn't gonna make it, and then whatever you did at that particular time with your team, with the grace of God, things turn around. That's a story. Give us a few stories of your experience.
That is quite an observation, because indeed, after working on an ambulance for 25 years,
wow,
that really is an experience.
Wow.
And what you see and what you learn and what touches you the most, it is something that it's overwhelming, and many people would never understand the depth and the feeling of such incident, and how you have to think and act quickly to save a life.
Yes.
I have been through it all in my 25 years at that time, and there are so many things that comes to mind, and when working in this field, it can never be anything pleasant. What actually makes you happy, knowing that a person has survived through it.
Yes.
So that is what gives you the courage. It encourages you to continue to upgrade yourself in the field, gain more knowledge, as to continue to be able to save lives. And not only that, how can I teach others the skills on life-saving procedures? And for that reason, I am an instructor also for the American Heart Association.
Wow.
It's about saving lives and it's about teaching people how to do that, how to perform in the case of an emergency. We have noticed, like, over the past years now, we have been the increase of heart attacks. For instance, people getting a heart attack behind the desk that they're sitting, working.
Right now, I mean, in these last few years we're talking about.
Up to just recently,
Wow.
heart attack you hear about, and people you don't expect, So again, it also, we need to heighten the awareness of eating healthy and exercising at the same time, to keep your heart in condition, to really be healthy. We need to move. It's about moving. And I encourage our people to watch our diets and just move the body, exercise.
I want to ask you. Yes, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
I heard a lot of people talking about moving the body. What does moving the body do to
Walking.
a person? Walking or
But it
This is
enhances
simple.
your circulation.
Okay.
It keeps your arteries,
Open.
burning the calories. So you're not sitting and getting fat and clogging up your arteries and stuff like that. You are actually burning the fat. Long time ago, people were not getting that. Why? Because people were laboring in the field,
Yes,
in the
they
ground.
walking.
It's
Correct,
about
correct.
bending
yeah.
whole pick and shovel business.
Yes.
Nowadays, you press a button and the crane lifting up everything.
That's right.
I can
Exactly.
remember growing up, for instance, in KB, they used to take sand from the cemetery down in the corner
Yes,
there in
yes,
KB Cemetery. And the government used to have some strict rules that you wasn't allowed to do that. And I can remember as a child seeing the men with a shovel, shoveling, flinging that sand up
yes.
in that truck in the air manually. And not only the sand, but men used to shovel the rocks manually with the shovel up
On
in the
truck.
air on a truck.
Wow.
And those were the days that a load of rocks to make to mix in the concrete. Those rocks were sold like for $10 a truckload. I used to pick rocks.
Yeah,
As a child, we had to pick rocks.
My mother used to pick
Yes,
rocks.
Big rocks. My grandmother used to
Yeah.
crush rocks with a hammer under the tree, and we used to watch those poils growing. You come in your little saucepan on your head, throw out your rock, go back again, pick rock. Listen, I was a rock picker. As a child, a rock picker, and my grandmother was a rock crusher.
And
I have here Judy Gums. I don't know if you know who Judy Gums. Judy Gums is saying good night to all. Sending much love to Maria from the Netherlands.
Good night, Judy.
She's in the Netherlands.
That's my friend.
A friend of yours.
Yes.
It's just to show you,
My
a
good
lot
friend.
about
Yeah,
that.
she's up very late.
They are very big in what.
I guess she decided she wants to see Maria. Judy, right? Thank you for
And Shirley Richardson as well.
and Shirley.
From the, I think she worked with, what you call the library.
Oh,
You're supposed to know
yes,
Shirley.
I know Shirley.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
Backstreet.
For Backstreet.
Yeah, back in the alley there by PG2, I think. Somewhere
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yes,
But,
Beach Island as
but
well.
Maria, I've known you for so many years, and always pleasant, always loving, always,
Yeah.
so that means you have a beautiful, a great heart. But I want to ask you this, because going back to your profession, because now we're talking the medical field, because you talk about the lives you save, but at times there's some lives that you just can't do anything for,
And that
then
hurts.
you see them die in front of you. And sometimes it can be people that you know too.
Definitely, definitely.
But I need just to get it. I'm curious, like just to use and answer this, and then you can go to other stuff. And going into the medical field over the years, or when you got into the medical field, did it change you in your feelings towards the profession? That it can make you become, I don't want to say make you become heartless, because it's a difficult job. Did it change how you saw life, how you see life today, or did it make you probably a more caring person? Or because I've seen some people in the medical field, they get harsh. We can save some, we can some gotta die, some gotta live, and they just it's just another life. But what effect did it have on you? over the years?
Before you answer, I also have Donia Richardson. I think she lives in
Donia.
in the Netherlands as well.
She lives in the
here.
Netherlands, but she's right here present.
She said, okay.
Yeah, I saw Donia.
She's saying good night to you.
Good
Saying
night,
hi to
Donia.
Maria.
Good night.
Yeah.
That's my cousin.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, sister.
That's cool, sister.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
my cousin.
okay. So Maria, that question, because you have, I know your personality, but how do you do it through that, and has it changed you over the years?
Actually, each individual is different. The job, when it comes for me, and speaking because I can't speak for others, I can only speak for me. In terms of the chosen profession, I always wanted to be a nurse.
Okay.
And it didn't happen at an early age.
Wow.
In life, what we are born with a destiny.
That's right.
and an assignment which is given to us by Almighty God.
Amen.
We have to know our number one, our potential and our purpose here on earth.
Yes.
Once you know that, you can go forward and move forward, not into the direction that you want to go, but in the direction that God is moving you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes we rush and we choose certain things that is not God's assignment, but it is our will wanting to be.
Yes.
Sometimes people choose certain professions because it pays good.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the nursing profession, you can never get paid enough.
That's right.
It is a rough job.
True.
So when we see people working on an ambulance and doing that type of work, sometimes you get home and because of what we have seen and experienced during that shift, it's difficult to fall asleep.
Wow. Can you imagine?
And I can give you something that was my very first experience when I went to work on the ambulance. Way back.
But you work in Curacao as well on the ambulance?
No.
Okay.
But I work in Washington, D.C. Did. I had that experience in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Wow.
on the ambulance for a couple of weeks. When I got everything that you experience the very first time, it stays with you. Your very first experience, it remains with you. And this one was a young girl, age 27, that got drowned right there in front of Seaview.
Okay.
An American tourist. And back in those days, we had a mark at head of the town, Langon.
Yeah.
And this young girl was transported there by us at the time with the ambulance. And this thing rests with me as if she was not dead.
As if she was not there.
Yeah, it came, I felt that way. I felt personally that way. Because then I was young into the profession. It was my very first brush with death and then that of a young person. And I had many of sleepless nights. I couldn't sleep.
Okay, but you say, but she had died, but
She was there, but for me, in my head, I couldn't accept it. I was in denial that, the young, beautiful person. And it was a not so nice experience for me for weeks.
Wow.
I couldn't sleep. So I came on a job, it affected me. In terms of, I just living but thinking, was she really there? Did this really happen? That kind of a... And then I got on the job and then my colleague told me. He said, what happened? I said, listen here, I have this, I can't sleep. I'm seeing this, this dead in front of me. Yes. He said, Maria, because he was from Seaport, he said, you go, take a shot of whiskey and it's gone. So I said, I don't drink no whiskey. I don't drink alcohol. He said, listen, you ain't gonna sleep. So I passed by the shop. I say, boy, I don't drink no whiskey, but they're selling something named brandy. And I said, when you were small, brandy, my grandmother used to make huddle, and she used to use this thing in it and give us the drink, So said I make it strong and so. So I said, boy, I think I need to sleep. So I bought that. It was a small bottle. I got home. I threw this thing straight in a whole bunch of water. Hold my nose and I set it down, drink burn my stomach. I was like, but I'll tell you what, I actually slept. So it could be a mind thing. You know, because of he's saying that, it's a mind thing.
Correct.
Okay.
But guess
Yes.
what? You know what? The experience of that taught me something else. This is how people get messed up, hooked on not only alcohol but drugs too. Because this is how they would sell it. Because and this conversation is also to heighten the awareness of us as a people, and even so as young people that are looking, we need to be careful. We need to be cautious at what someone can say to you, and you fall into this, and then it becomes a habit. I mean, thank God it was not a habit, but I'm just saying this to say that we need to be careful.
Yeah.
Because what you just said, and if I may just jump in, Maria, what you're just saying is that in that one particular moment there, that
Yes.
one time,
That one time.
it could become a habit.
It can become a habit.
One
But
situation.
guess what? That was my first experience. But you know that thereafter, nothing have ever
Moved you.
affected me. I have picked them up in real serious situations, spattered all over the place, but
Wow.
it never stopped me from sleeping.
Okay.
Thereafter. So the very first experience of anything in our lives, whether you are a male or a female, your very first experience when it comes to life experiences, good or bad, is something you always remember.
Exactly.
So you would
The
say
Bristol
that-
said also the Bristol love and appreciate you. The Bristol,
Okay, that's Reverend Bristol.
Reverend Bristol and his wife and his daughter.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you,
Yeah.
Reverend, my neighbors.
Your neighbors.
Thank
but,
you.
But what I'm still curious about, Maria, with what you just said there again, is that because you said the first experience, it changed you. Would you say that it did change your personality, or it did change you just functioning at a job? But did it change who Maria was before to what you are today? Because I'm sitting here and I'm seeing the same Maria smiling, always loving and all of that. And so, but was that always you even before the profession? Outside of the job, I'm saying, when you're with friends, but did your life mindset, did it? Of course it changed. But I want to, because I know of other people in your profession that, they see a life as, how should I say, it's like I was an animal. They just,
They don't move them.
you're gone, they throw you in a bag, and nothing. So there's no love, and there's no feeding, and there's no caring for the person other than treating it as a job. Was that the case for you?
No.
You understand my point, eh?
I understand where you're coming from. But again, it's the individual. I, as a person, I always want to be myself. I am not that person that wants to be someone else and see things like because somebody else see it that way. No. I am always myself, because and this is something that I also share with my children. Be who you are. And in my talks again with anyone, and sitting here with both of you, I will always say to you, be you.
Yes.
Because anytime you try to be someone else, you will fail. So if you
Absolutely.
want to put on a show and not be you, you're not going to make it. You're going to fail. I am not a perfect person, because I also have my timing and my mood. And this is all of us, because we are human and we are in the flesh.
Exactly.
So being in the flesh, meaning that there are times that you will not be who people think or want you to be at that particular time.
Yes.
Yes? So again, I always would ask God to keep me conscious that these people I'm dealing with. And again, when it comes to the nursing profession, I always try to bear in mind, I treat people the way I would like to be treated. And I believe that With this in mind, many of our nursing professionals, including doctors, would put themselves in the position of that patient, of that other person.
Yes.
They would speak a little better to the patient, that would bring them to a better understanding as to their situation.
Correct,
because
correct.
the way you rough up people, you make them scared, and you close them up instead of opening them up where you can help them.
Yes,
Sometimes people, it's not a medication that you give them. It is the attention, the kind word that goes along with
That's
it,
what you're saying. Yes.
that would ease that patient. And like I mentioned with the brandy just a while ago, it is a mindset. It ain't necessarily that's made me feel
psychological.
good, but
yes.
it's a psychological thing. So in any situation, we have to really focus on what can be the effect or the result of whatever action we decide to take. Yes, and it includes also the way we treat our clients, the way we treat our patients, the way we treat people in general. And again, it's sometimes the tone of voice.
Yes.
Sometimes you ain't mean it that way, but because of the tone, a person would, become like, hey, what's that? But you didn't mean it that way, and then you need to apologize.
So you kind of like, because I'm attributing that to your nerves kicking in. Because while you're saying that, Maria, I always think on when you're going to do Jeffrey, he can attest to that too. You're going to get your blood pressure taken, and you're all nervous, before you get the blood pressure goes up.
It goes up.
Yeah, so your nerves kick in. So what happens there? It couldn't be that you could read a wrong blood pressure measurement, in the sense that probably the person doesn't have high blood pressure. It's just that their nerves kicked in at that time because they were scared. Couldn't be.
They can be scared, and they can be sometimes your attitude as a nurse too. Previous experience. Imagine a patient laying in the bed there, you rough them up like half an hour ago. Now you come back to take my pressure. I'm expecting to get the same treatments again. I freeze and my pressure gone up.
Correct.
I have your nanny nurse. She just came on.
Nanny nurse.
She's on. Now she work a long time with you.
Correct, yes.
And I have Nicole. She said something I want to say it. She said here. Wait, let me just say. She is a good human being. Like you're a good human being. She wish it had many more nurses or doctors like you. And
Thank you.
And Shirley Richardson said, Maria is a humble person.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were saying something.
That word humility.
Humility.
Correct.
It's good that Miss Shirley have touched on that as well. Because again, in dealing with people, we need to be humble and not boastful. That is not how we're supposed to be. When you are humble, because the word of God speaks of humility.
Yes.
Humble yourself if you want to be exalted. And
Amen.
those are words that are very meaningful to me. Because the more humble you are, you are helping the people that are in your life, whether they are your patient, your friends, or your family members. Just be humble. Be who you are. There's no need to be showing off, because a lot of people, they're just showing off business and this boastful, me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
We need to cool out. We need to take it easy and realize in life, listen, today, you might be the caregiver. Or the caretaker. The giver. But tomorrow, you might be the one that have to be taken care of. How would you like to be treated on a sick bed?
Yes, that's right. And while that begins, I'm here, while I'm looking at the time, checking the time and all that, because there's so many other areas we want to talk to you about, Maria. I have one more other question in this category that I'm very curious about. And I'm sure that you've had that experience over the years in the medical field. What has it been like when you found yourself in a situation where, like, say, if you an ambulance, for example, in the ambulance, you be called to an accident, and you don't know the person, let's say the person is a close friend,
Oh, I've had that.
or family, someone that you love very much, that, and you see him in this condition. How do you react? Can you do the job the same way as normal, or would you be too emotional that someone will have to take over for you? How do you contain yourself?
The first thing is, because I have experienced it, and it was a shocker. There was a colleague of mine in this condition, and it was a motorbike accident.
Wow.
So it stunned me at first. I had to catch myself and realize, oh boy, I gotta work on
Job,
this.
yes.
It's my colleague, and I just went in and did what I had to do after the hospital with him, and stayed with him. It was really an emotional moment, because it's easier said than done, because we need to remember, no matter what the job is, we are still a human.
Yeah.
And when it hits home, it's a total different feeling. I can remember one of my daughters went to church, and then took in with appendix.
Oh.
And when I got the news to come down to the emergency room, I was like, what? Oh my God, it's my own child. It is a totally different feeling. I was emotional, even though I was out there picking up, attending to others. This is now my child in the emergency room, and it was a totally different feeling.
So what you're saying there, Maria, is that basically, even 5, 10 years, or 15 or 20 years into the profession, where you would say, I've done it all, so I got this. You're saying that when it's a family or a loved one or someone close, it just affects you the same way every time. So you just can't get used to it. It's just how you would respond.
It is just like that. I mean, people die, and you sympathize and everything. But when it is your family member, as a person in care, it is a different feeling. Your human feeling kick in there.
Yeah.
And you forget everything else.
Yeah.
Because now it's on the doorstep.
Yeah.
And I had that experience up to today, this afternoon, as I told you all.
Yeah.
A very close friend of mine
Yes.
has crossed over, as I
Yes,
just call
yes.
it, and it really, not that it was unexpected. I expected it. We all expected it, but I didn't expect it this fast.
Yeah.
So when it just happened like an hour or two ago, I was like, okay, God, your will be done. But here am I have to do what I have to do, and I'll deal with that after. So again, this is now a different feeling, and this is what I'm saying. It is life, and it's a part of life. This is living, and we have no control over sickness and death, and not even over the taxes.
That's true.
Because the tax man, two things we sure of death and we sure of taxes.
Yeah.
We gotta pay them.
That's
Even if you're dead, you still want to pay the taxes.
Yeah,
So I don't know how that has worked out of the grave,
Correct. That's true.
but of the ashes, but it is something that we have to pay. However, in all things we give God thanks.
Amen.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation and circumstances is, there is a God, and we have to seek connection with Him to be able to give us that peace, the peace that passes all understanding. It's incomprehensible, just like you would not understand how you could do this job, as an ambulance worker, nurse, for all of these years, or as a nurse. Because when the nurse get the person in the bed on the ward, they're different. The person don't clean up already, but the person who took up that injured person on the roof, that is a whole different feeling.
That's right.
So my thing with people is, let us take care of ourselves. Let us take care of our bodies. Let us be careful in our driving. Let us keep it safe. And again, I need to mention also the same thing with our diabetic patients.
Oh yeah.
We need to also reach out and heighten the awareness of diabetes. And I am very happy to know that the Minister of VSR, Mr. Honorable Otley, has approved the podiatric specialist for the diabetic, the patients that are diabetics, and having the foot issues, because it is too many people are losing their not one limb but both limbs at times to diabetes.
So you're saying that it could have been avoided. It could be avoided.
It could be avoided if they get the proper care.
Okay.
And this is something that in the teachings, because I also give personal hygiene teachings and trainings, where people tend to only think of when they're bathing, they only bathe their knee. But they forget the feet, that is so important to clean their feet between their toes. And again, our people, and in particular our men, I must say this, they think that going to a
Spa.
a salon or a spa or a pedicurist to do their feet is a woman thing.
Oh.
That's how they think.
Yeah.
They feel that if people pass and see me sitting down in the salon, they think I'm gay.
Yeah.
Or, those kind of
I understand what you're saying.
Correct thoughts.
Correct.
But you need to visit a medical pedicurist. And they have, I think, both of them, because I also take patients to them that have their nails done, cut, because you need to take care of there's ingrowing toenails.
Yes.
Sometimes you look at the heels of some of these men up to today, and you look at their toes, and you wonder, but is nobody, do they have a wife? Do they have a companion that are looking at these feet? Because this is where it starts. Those feet get a crust on them, all the heel, and then they crack up.
Yes.
The next, you are a diabetic. The next thing you have a fungus in between there. The heel, the toes, under the toenails, you start to get those toenails become sick, get black.
Okay.
And you know how the procedure go up, the gangrene take over, and bam, you lost the limb.
Yes.
So we need to heighten awareness of all of us, male or female, and in particular those men that have their companion, have their wives, check them fit.
So you're saying that, because I'm really listening to you carefully, Maria, you're saying then that awareness can be most probably the bigger problem than the facilities or the let's say the nursing care, the doctor care, a specialist care that we have. The awareness, let's say, of how we treat ourselves, so we take care of ourselves as individuals, could be the bigger problem than when it becomes a medical problem itself to that extent?
It can be avoided.
Correct.
The awareness helps you to avoid the bigger problem.
Correct.
The people need to be aware, they need to be brought up to consciousness as where it pertains to their health. And in particular, in this case, I'm speaking diabetes.
Okay.
Because that is the big problem that we have, where we have so many people with prosthesis. Prosthesis is a very expensive something.
Yes.
When you can avoid losing your limb and having to get a prosthesis.
So why you say that, Maria? There's so many things going through my mind. Because I always say, but you know that as well. Everything starts from, let's say, childhood, from younger. What are we doing in St. Maarten in terms of that aspect of care within the school community, whether it's in the secondary schools or young? And I don't know. I'm just asking you. Where does it begin? Because we're talking about folks, senior people, having to go through whether it's diabetes or whatever other ailment that they have at an older age. But can we help, or are we doing something at the younger age? Let's say educating our young people that they can avoid this trajectory at an older age?
Again, it's all about awareness. And it not only starts in the school, because the school can't take care of every issue. It starts in the home with the
Absolutely.
families. It is what, sometimes in the morning you would see a parent, instead of making a healthy sandwich for your child, he stops at Burger King and McDonald's. And I'm saying, you mean this parent can't make a cup of hot tea?
Yes.
And give these children, you stop in there, and then you're seeing the children walk pate and buster. So what we have, obese children that are sick.
Yes.
Some of these children, the parents themselves are not aware that the child is diabetic, having juvenile diabetes.
Wow.
Some they're not aware, and you look at the child, and you wonder, because as long as the child ain't fall down faint away, pass out, parents don't take children for checkups. It only happens when the child gets sick with a cold, a flu, or probably complaining of headaches. Because again, they're feeding the children. A lot of our children are eating a lot of hot dogs, for instance. Hot dogs has in certain, it's processed meat, it has in certain things. Children are complaining of the headache, morning, noon, and night. And when you check probably that child probably has something much more serious than you can imagine. So again, the awareness starts at home. Children eating a lot of salt, they eating a lot of sugar, they drink those busters, those things, sodas having nothing else but sugar.
But they're very cheap, that's why.
Water. But when it's cold, it quenches their thirst. When we were growing up, we had something else. We would have lime juice sweetened with brown sugar.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true.
You know, it even didn't have any ice. But it was tasting nice. So you would drink your juice, your lime juice, sweetened with your brown sugar, and it hadn't even sent the very little straws from the bag in it. Because sometimes they even didn't strain it, they wait for it to settle in the bottom. And then you drink the top. Right? So now you have this artificial stuff. This is just things that are being made to sell for the producer.
And they sell them very cheap.
Make money.
They sell them very cheap.
They sell them cheap. They sell them
Are
cheap.
you that, Jeffrey?
Oh God, I drink them.
You buy it? It's gonna be.
That's why. Yeah, I have here Agnes Felipa also, and Linda Lake. She said, "Good night, Sister Maria."
Good night, Sister Linda, and dearest Aggie.
Aggie.
Aggie's all in Texas.
She's always.
Oh, she's in Texas with her son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good night, Aggie.
Maria, we want to move on to another topic before we run out of time. But I want to just ask you, based on your profession in the medical field over the years, and I want to talk about St. Maarten in particular, because we spoke about the St. Joe's Hospital and everything, how it was up there, and the nursing, and now we do the medical center. You born there. I was born in Melville, in somebody's house. You see?
Yeah. Country nurse.
Yeah, the country nurse. Correct.
Midwife.
But, correct. But what I want to ask you is because I want you to do some comparisons. Because I'm taking you back in the early days of your profession, 30 years ago, or 35 years ago, 40 years ago, and I want you to go through those years to today's date with the new medical center, new state-of-the-art facilities. We're having so many different features within the medical center that are coming in. We don't have to go abroad now. We have neurologists, we have cardiologists, we have everything. So you don't have one person taking care of everything, and more and more we're seeing a lot of improvement in equipment and all of that.
Yes.
So, because you said a lot here this evening, and sometimes it made me wonder if we are losing it based on the junk food and this and that and that. But can you say, based on that, is there hope that things will become better as far as the medical field is concerned?
Definitely. To go back to probably 40, 50 years ago, or even 60 years ago, to now, of course there has been much improvement. Technology has improved, overall improvement. So what our grandparents didn't know then, had no knowledge of, because certain things that come about now, our foreparents never heard of.
No.
There was no dictionary to even explain. So we thank God, as the word says, knowledge shall increase.
That's right.
So knowledge has increased over the years, so it has heightened the awareness of many ills within society.
So the symptoms and stuff like that.
Yes. We are very smart, a smart generation, to say. And so therefore we need to thank God for that. The knowledge gained over the years that is an extension to life.
Yes.
Because again, if you reach on time and whatever you have has been treated on time, of course you can live. Yeah. It is not so that you're going to die because the lack of. Correct. And sometimes it is because we do not take things in hand in time. We tend to lapse, and especially men.
Oh yes, yeah.
Well, certain things, oh, not me, because, oh God, I'm not going to be macho anymore. And I will hit on this, which I'm talking here, the prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Men, they want to prove their macho-ness with who down the road, and they're not even worrying with the
They're concerning
symptoms
their health. Yes,
that
yes,
maybe
yes.
they're experiencing, but they want to be that bull out there that they neglect themselves, and then bing, the bullhorn start to twist. You know, they're crying, oh Lord, poor me, why me?
Then this
But
is the last stage.
you are then too late.
Too late.
You know, so we need again to speak a lot to our men, also to be aware, get your regular checkups, men. You know, check yourself, cool it down, because you can live, it's better to live. And I had told a person that one time, I said, you know, it's better that you have a Willie in your life.
Yeah.
Because he was telling me about, but Willie this and Willie that. And I said, and what would it want you to be? Then you'll be cold, stiff, and there be a cold, stiff there
No,
Willie too.
exactly.
You know? So, for me, it is about men, stop being arrogant, take care of yourself, listen, stop wanting to be that macho person out there, take care of you. It's better to be in a world alive and enjoy earth, you know, for a long time, instead of hasting yourself out of this world because you neglect to do what you're supposed to do in terms of taking care of your health. And to our ladies, I say the same. If you have something, it don't feel right, it don't look right, don't worry about what your partner, your husband, whatever somebody tell you. No, I'm keeping this in because I don't want to lose my womb, I don't want to lose my uterus, I don't want to lose my ovaries, and all of these kind of things. I don't want to lose my breast. Listen, life is precious.
Yes.
And as long as we are alive, we all want, even if you're 100 years and you're good in your senses, you still want to live.
That's right.
Whereas you have people who are dying as babies, 10, 15 years old, and they're gone already. You know, so let us cherish life. Let us cherish what we have. Let us do our regular checkups. Let us continue to be aware of what can happen if we fail to really take care of ourselves. And not only our physical, but also emotional and mental health. Because again, we have a lot of people that are suffering from mental breakdowns because of the stress of life. Listen, go swimming, go on the beach, do something, get busy, do things, help people out there. You have people, because when you help others, you're going to be enjoying life, and you don't have any time to sit down and stress yourself.
Correct.
You know, I believe that, and I'm speaking here from experience, if I living in this house by myself and I'm just sitting down watching the TV and myself, it does me no good. Eventually, something up here is going to start to break down. So you're either going to get senile or you're going to flip and go crazy. So we need to be positive, surround yourself with positive people, have a positive, constructive conversation, laugh a lot. Yes. I said this is about life, and I tell myself, listen, live, love, and laugh. Now when you say love, they think, oh, it's about a man. No, love you.
Sure.
Live and love
yourself,
life.
Correct.
Laugh a lot. Look at some funny movies. Look at something.
That's right.
You know, make some jokes with some friends. If you are a couple in a home, you have a companion, a husband, or whoever, make a lot of jokes. Even if it's on the both of you. A husband make a joke on himself, or make a joke on his wife do the same. Laugh about it. Have family gatherings around. Laugh, make jokes. When my kids were small and they were here, I had them running up and down to the place. I wouldn't tell you what I was doing. You know, having them running and ducking and hiding from me, and we will laugh at that. Today they're all grown women, and we can sit down when I visit them and talk about the jokes. Like, mommy, you remember this? And hey, you remember what you do? And, you know, those kind of things. So, again, family, come together, laugh, live, and love each other. You know?
I love that.
Maria, you said laugh, you know, and that got my attention because, you know, like Jeffrey and I, we talk about that a lot. The laughing aspect. And we're talking about technology. We're talking about all of that. I want to go back to the laughing, and I want to go back to the technology. I want to go back to the internet. I want to go back to Google, and you're googling. You're feeling this pain in your hand, and Jeffrey's laughing. I know what he's laughing for. You feel a pain here. You're googling. If I feel a pain here, what is
That's
it?
the worst thing.
If I feel a pain there, if I ain't this and that, I got a stomach problem. What would it be?
I won't hear about that.
You're
I won't hear
googling.
about that.
You're googling, and you're getting. You saw Maria. Maria, because a lot of people out there,
They Googling
have
a
that
lot.
problem. They're googling. And then they're feeling all kinds of stuff in their head, and then instead of it helping them, it makes them feel. Well, then they get paranoid.
And sometimes that same symptom,
Yeah.
you start to feel it.
You
No,
believe
serious.
what you read.
You believe it's real.
You become what you read.
What you read.
This is something serious that is affecting a lot of people out there. And you're talking about the laugh. The laugh.
You get a lot of laughs.
I want you to. Yeah, you see, a lot of people respond to that. I want you to just say something about
Touch on that.
Say something about that, Maria, because help some of our viewers. Please help our people.
I thank you. I thank you for mentioning that, Roberto, because indeed Google is driving people up.
I can say, it has good stuff.
It
You put it in
is
the
good
butt.
stuff. But we have, we need to be careful at all times. Be cautious with the things that we are reading, the thing, because as you mentioned, they read so much that they start to feel that it's happening to them.
Yes.
So again, for instance, you have locally, we have our doctors, you have your house doctor, your specialist, whoever that are attending you. When you start to Google telling you all kind of things with all the symptoms, and at a given point in time, the person that is reading and thinking that they have all the symptoms. They nothing, Every symptom that is mentioned there, they feel they have it. And everything that medication says has these side effects, they're going to get it.
Yes. And then on
It's
top
far from the
like
truth.
you said, Maria, and then when do they do that? At night, when they have to get that peaceful
Thank you.
rest, that's the last thing that they want to look at. What does it do to your peaceful rest? You can't sleep because your mind is then working
It
around.
disturbs your rest.
So
Because your mind, your body is laying down, you might have the eyes closed, but that mind is moving.
yes,
It is moving all over the place. So at the end of the day, you get up in the morning, but you didn't sleep.
No.
Actually, because your mind was busy because of what you read. It was not a nice little movie. It was something that was mind-boggling, and it actually upset the mind. Our mind is a very powerful thing, as I mentioned, and we have to be careful how we treat our mind by putting certain things in the mind.
Yes,
You're feeding your mind with negativity.
Correct.
Whether the negativity came from the Google or from somebody's conversation.
That's another thing.
Because
too.
that is, again, I always say, surround ourselves with positive people, positive conversations, a conversation that is going to build. Now, if I have someone that is not feeling well, I don't think I need to go and stress that person with telling them, it could be this, it could be that. That is negative.
Correct.
I will try to find something positive to lean you towards, because
Correct.
I know when I leave, you probably isn't going to close your eyes because of what I store up in your mind. That is not the way it should be. So we need to be careful for what our ears are hearing and what our eyes are reading. That can affect our overall mindset. And your mind is something that is easily upset.
And I'm building this with you, Maria. You're the professional in this field, because Jeffrey and I, all of us go through some stuff in like medical stuff in life where we're. But I wanted to get your feedback on that, because in the sense of the positivity, then I wanted you to say, because we're here in St. Maarten, we have the medical center, we have a doctor, we have that, and I did not get from you on which I'm happy that is so, because it shows you what positivity can do in terms of helping the people that are even out there looking at us on live stream, in terms of the confidence that they need to have in their in their medical facilities, and their doctors, and their hospitals, and who their nurses, and what have you, that they do not start to think that, oh, this is my thing, you know, the doctors here, and this, that. You know, we didn't have a conversation on it because there's so much good things to report about. You saw I'm going with this, Maria.
Yes.
You know, and if all of us can feed that kind of information, that there's a lot of good.
There's a lot of good.
It will eliminate the bad.
It is. There's a lot of good out there.
What's your take on that?
There's a lot of good out there, and this conversation also is to bring our people also to build that confidence actually in our medical facility
Yes.
and our medical doctors here, because
Yes.
we are living here and you can't swim it to no doctor nowhere. It's a plane or an ambulance will have to take you there. Before you get there, you have to be seen. You must be seen
Absolutely.
by the local doctors
Yes.
here, whether it's that side or friend side. So we need to appreciate them and
Yes.
give them also a thumbs up, because
Absolutely.
they are the ones that we have to see here first before we can go anywhere else.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, so therefore I believe that, and I know for a fact there's a lot of good, definitely, that listen, they can only do so much and no more.
Correct.
You know,
correct.
and we have to start to appreciate, and with our appreciation helps to build the doctor's self-confidence.
Yes.
It's because I, as a nurse, being in the nursing field there and then, the first time that you graduate and you're around the bed of a patient, the way you treat the patient, the way the patient reacts towards you, and the confidence, that patient has to also make you confident that what you are doing
That's right.
is the correct procedure,
yeah.
because they feel you know, it's a two-way street.
Because they can put you under pressure too.
They can put you under pressure too by making you feel like you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Correct.
So therefore, as you can, it's a two-way street. Patient, nurse, or a caretaker. Yes.
So it's like, work with me and I'll work with you.
Yes, let me
Yes.
work with you. It's the same thing with our doctors. I am not saying nobody's perfect, neither the doctor, they're not God,
No,
and they're not a
exactly.
magician.
Exactly.
And sometimes, again, we will blame the doctor, but if you are visiting a doctor, you need to take note of what you're feeling, write it down, that when you reach there, you don't forget.
Yeah.
Because the doctor cannot make a diagnosis if you do not tell him what your symptoms are.
Exactly.
You gotta tell them. They wouldn't know your big toe hurting you
course.
and give you something for the big toe if you don't tell them. And then when you step out
You
the
have to
door,
give them the
you
information.
have to give them, Doc, I'm feeling X, Y, Z. I have a pain here, blah, blah. The full thing, sharp, dull, what is
Correct.
it?
What
And they're
I'm
gonna
doing-
ask you.
Yes.
But then if you cannot describe it with the pain, or you don't understand what's dull and what is sharp,
Exactly.
you ain't going nowhere.
How you gonna describe that?
They cannot help you with the medication if you do not give them the proper information as to how and where your pains or whatever it is that you're feeling are.
So you're advising that person, that patient, then to not go to the doctor and just thinking that the doctor can just help them by them sitting quiet.
And-
You're advising then the person to go and give as much information as
Yes.
possible of what they're feeling,
Correct.
so the doctor is able to diagnose what
Make
the
a proper-
possibilities are.
Exactly. So you're feeling something, do not withhold it from your doctor, and then when you reach
Correct.
home, you're telling the neighbor.
Okay.
The neighbor can't do
Yes,
nothing
yes,
for you
yes.
because these are the things that are happening, and then they blame the doctor.
Or if you have medication for something, you're not taking the medication.
That too.
But you come to the doctor,
Yeah.
you tell the doctor, "Doc, I still ain't feeling good." But you're not taking the medication that you're supposed to be taking.
Exactly. Because remember, as you mentioned before, they go on Google. And Google
Yes.
said something about
Google
that
said-
medication, so
Google
they ain't
said,
taking
"Don't
it.
take that medication."
But they still
Yes.
feeling sick, they go back. But they ain't tell the doctor that, you know, I was on Google and Google said this and I'm afraid to take it.
Yeah, I used to have the book.
I have a question. What about these persons that have this, let's say, practice? They're herbalists, and they're doing, let's say, little treatments on you and telling you need this, that. What about those people? Those people
Well,
are
I
going to go to-
actually have never been to a herbalist. I've been in a
Never?
health shop though, but I've never been to a herbalist. But I have known of patients that are treated by herbalists,
Okay.
and depends on what it was, they did have a
Good results.
good result. Yes,
Okay.
yes. But sometimes it can be conflicted. We have to be careful too. It's the same way like Bush. You know, they making tea. I can remember even with the COVID, you know, you hear boil this, boil that, boil all of these things together,
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
of these things.
I remember that.
Listen, not all bushes walks together.
Correct.
Not all bushes, and you don't boil bushes. You steep them. But not all combination of bushes, and the herb specialists will tell you that not all bushes put together in one pot is good. It can have negative effects on your health.
Correct.
Because then you're busy poisoning your system. Because again, your kidneys, they have to take out all of this poison and detoxify and stuff like that. And you boil, come and drink, and then they will tell you, oh, that bitter bush. Oh, that bitter bush was bitter, but it's good.
Yeah.
It helped my sugar. But they didn't know what else it did. It might look like it helped the sugar. It masked it, bring it down. But what have it done to the kidneys? We have a lot of dialysis patients, and they are growing by the minute.
And like you said that
as we
even
speak.
correct. And like you said that even that's everybody use garlic. We know that garlic takes pressure down. But if you keep using, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you keep using garlic every day, every night, or whatever, it can take your pressure lower than the normal rates. So then before you know it, then you go from high blood pressure to low blood pressure, for example. So those things are factual.
And if they are, and sometimes they are taking the blood pressure medication also.
With it. Yes.
With all of this, listen. And sometimes they're not taking the blood pressure medication, they put that down and then they're just taking this other herb thing. You know, I believe that if you are prescribed to get a result that is good, that the doctor needs to see at the end of the day.
I agree.
Because we are also seeing an increase of stroke patients. And not old people. Young people are having strokes. Guess what? Because they are not taking their medication. And then again, I'll say this about men, again, not really bashing the men, but men have a problem taking blood pressure medication because they are busy mining Billy. You understand? If you're going to take the blood pressure, of course, when you're as a man taking blood pressure medication for the men out there, of course, you're going to have erectile dysfunction. Why? Because it takes blood pressure, blood in the penis for it to get an erection. Now, when you are taking the blood pressure medication, of course, the blood flow is diminished. So therefore, there's not enough power in the pressure to give you that kind of erection that is needed to perform.
So you can't get erection.
It can be a sloppy one. But it all depends on how strong, because it depends on your blood pressure level at the time, what you're treating and the medication that you're using.
Correct.
You know, so those are one of the things that men. So when we look, you see a bunch of men with strokes walking around because they ain't taking their blood pressure medication because they're busy mining.
And you know, I can tell you, I am. I have to admit that I'm one of those that. Because everybody in this market I had a stroke, but I used to take blood pressure medications, and at that particular point in time, when I got the stroke, it was just when I decided, what happened? Let me get out of these blood pressure medications, and I stopped for some time, and bam,
you got a stroke.
And I was eating stuff with too high sodium. And on top of that, so then it just came on so very fast. So I can advise people, stay on your blood pressure medication so you can keep your blood pressure in normal ranges. But Maria, we gotta.
But would you have to be there for life on it? On your blood pressure?
I would say for as long as you need it. Because don't play blood pressure, You go down today, and by the time it fly up and you got a stroke, and you cannot reverse that. So what you're supposed to do? It's only once a day. Once a day. Take your blood pressure medication and be happy. Live, love, and laugh. If you are a man and you're married for 100 years to your wife, does your wife mind if your performance now is not? She'll have you for 100 times. She know what it's all about.
Sure.
You all have enjoyed each other, and I think that this is what our people need to bear in mind.
Yes.
And for the wives, encourage your husbands also. Let them, hey, hon, we have been married for 50, 60 years. What else is there? Let us enjoy life, enjoy each other. Sit in front of the TV, have a good laugh, make some jokes. Remember and cherish the moments past. Live life. Embrace life to the end. Embrace it, love each other, and be happy.
Amen.
All about the quality of life. But Maria, the time is running fast, but I think
The time passed already.
I know the time is passed.
Let's
but
talk about the
I'll
senior
tell you,
citizens quickly.
We got to talk about the senior citizens with you. So I want you to really quickly just give us a quick synopsis of what the situation is like right now for the seniors. What are some of the areas that that the seniors are going through that are, how should I say, complications then that they are fighting for? What are the areas that the seniors need help in? We know that there's a lot of crime out there. What are some of the things that you would want to talk about?
I would think that our seniors they need to be educated more on the online, what it is on going online.
Okay.
Because it's very important, because everything now they send you online.
Yeah.
Even from the government office, go online, to do these things, and our people don't understand. So what I would say, the youths, you have younger family members, please assist the elderly, your elder family member, with how to do things online. Do it for them. They can't do it themselves. Help them, because this is the technology time that we are in, and definitely it isn't going to get any better.
No.
It's going to be more advancing, and therefore our seniors depend on the younger generation to assist them. Take time, love, and assist them. And again, for those seniors that have to go to the government office, have no other choice than to go there, don't have our seniors standing in the sun in the morning outside here for long periods of time. Some of those folks have left home, they didn't even drink their tea because they're so concerned about getting there and getting on time, getting up front to be able to get assistance early or as quick as possible. Please remember them. They have paved the way. And now it is time for the younger generation to really pay them the respect that is due by assisting them by the snap, let's do it and let's do it together. A lot of respect need to be given to our seniors. They are, kind of neglected, left behind, and that is not the way to go. They have paved the way for all of us.
That's
and
correct.
For you all, as I'm a senior as well at this point in time. But one that is still moving, still able, but you have those that are not able. Let us respect them. Let us show them the love that they deserve.
What I would want to sit to that too, Maria, is that we're living in different times. There's some realities when it comes to, let's say, your parents, the seniors, and their children or their grandchildren. They're caught up in their own world, doing their own thing. But let's say now, I'm now looking at it from the perspective, because we're talking about health, we're talking about, then let's talk about the SHV, let's talk about government, those two institutions, for example, that can take on the role, let's say, of setting up a section that can
Accommodate.
That can accommodate that type of service, because they know who all the seniors are. They know who the seniors are, so they can make sure that there's some type of a coverage, or I don't know, whatever, social services that can be set up that go out on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis and make sure that these seniors are taking care of these areas. They got to go online. They make sure that they can go online and set up whatever has to be set up and taken care of for them. Wouldn't that be something that the seniors would appreciate being in place, so that they don't have to have that stress if their child or grandchild doesn't have the time to do it?
I fully agree with it. Just recently there was someone that I must mention that actually started to do something like that, which is Rolex Jr. in terms of giving the seniors the computer, and I also think his computer classes.
Okay, very good.
Because you never know enough. And I applaud that program, because our seniors are coming up because they want to learn how to handle this computer, how to get online, how to pay their bills, and it is a very, very good program. And this is what our seniors need. And the social welfare office, I would like to see them doing more for the seniors, because much more can be done. You go there, and again, some of the young folks in these offices think that they'll never grow old, and the honest way you don't grow old is if you die young. So they need to understand that they need to respect the seniors. They give them some appointments way down for God. I mean, come on. Sure, you can help them. Some of those papers are there in the computer. Press a button,
absolutely,
and it will come out of the machine. Why you are telling the old person, come back? And his son is so hot.
correct.
When you right there, it could be a grandmother. Come on, they don't have a mother, they don't have grandparents. Press your button, give the poor person, the senior, that respect by just printing the paper and stamping it and doing what you have to do and let them go.
I can tell you.
It's ridiculous.
I can tell you of and it's not. And this has nothing to do with the seniors, but the Simon Chamber of Commerce, for example, you go to them to get to your service, and if you got to go online, if you got to get any type of information, you got to get any assistance. They have a center there right next to the main entrance, where they give all the services. And if you're not able to do it yourself, you could go into this facility where someone will assist you, and they will do all the processing online for you to get you registered, to get your business registered. It doesn't have to do with seniors, it has to do with you having a business
Service.
and they just giving you service. So and then another thing in addition to that, Maria, would you think it would be a good thing? I don't know if government or whatever institution can assist these senior organizations like what's her name, Patsy Palace, and they have these the seniors organization and stuff like that. If they can come in, because we know where they are on a weekly basis, where they're situated. Some of them are at the Jalami Center, some of them at the Hope Estate and all of that. So that someone can take the initiative, and just go there with a few computers on a weekly basis, and have some of them assisted where they can learn. So it's all initiatives, and whether they can be paid for, or let's say if the business sector can give that service by way of sponsoring it on a yearly basis. That doesn't have to come from government, but they can be paid for. That the seniors know that even while on a weekly basis, because they go to the centers, they do games and they do this and they do that. But if you want to get them into the technology, it would be something great. Our mom,
I remember when my mom just started.
Yes,
she didn't want to see that. She didn't want to see no social media, no this, no that. But today she's
all day.
She's working on it like she's a young person.
Maria, all day she's on the
that's her company.
She know how to go to the WhatsApp. She know Facebook. She know.
That's a companion.
And you say it's a companion because everybody's so busy, with their profession and they're up and down. So she can sit on there all day. She don't care who come or go.
Yeah, I know.
You can say, I cook your food there at the table, go and get it, And she stays there and she watch this one, she watch that one. She knows what's going on.
And she laughs. She go find.
She follows.
She go follow everything.
What is going on in the world?
But
because once you get the start, so you have to help our seniors to give them the start. And once they get the start, they can get into it.
Yes.
They get into it. It's very easy to get into. So things like that. But
and I find it's keeping her young.
Exactly.
Yes. Young
the
because
mind,
she keeping
the mind
up
is occupied positively.
Yeah.
There's no time to think on negativity because that space that stays open of idleness, it corrupts the mind with things that ain't need to be there.
Yeah.
Thoughts from way back start to come forward, and it emotionally wrecks you.
Correct.
So that is very good that she's busy with that. However, she still needs to have that physical contact of seeing her family members, her children, her grandchildren coming to visit her. Because no matter how much gadgets we have around us, we need that eye-to-eye interaction. We need to hear the voice real. We need to see the person, in our mix. Because again, she's also with that because there's nothing else.
No, there's nothing else.
But let us keep our families together by interacting. Because I always remind people, you see those gadgets, they also have made a wedge between personal contact.
I can tell you that sometimes you see a family.
If you go to the restaurants, you notice it.
Yes, everybody on dinner.
You have a dinner,
husband, wife, children, and everybody on their gadget. Nobody talk to each other. They order their food and then they go back to their gadgets.
Yeah.
And until the whole world is corrupted now.
It has taken over.
It has taken over. It's gone that far. Are those some of the things that you can change? That's the question. Then it's left to every individual to change that. Yeah.
Because if we going to get a group to dinner, I think that should be a rule. You see this basket here? Then you have one like this, and you say, all men put phones here. Put it here.
I got you.
Yeah. Yes, you can do that.
You're
too.
not a doctor. You're not a doctor. You're not on call. Because if you're on call, stay home.
Correct.
If we come out to
Put the phone
enjoy
down.
each other, put the phone
Put the phone down.
Down.
aside, down,
Yeah.
out. This is what we are here for, to enjoy each other's company while we enjoy a nice dinner.
Maria.
Yes.
Maria, we're out of time actually. And I want.
You know, I told you I wanted to see that
needs to go to see
that play that
There's another,
Ray Kondi is keeping
Oh, I need to
today.
see that.
You know Ray Kondi?
Yes, she's my neighbor up the road.
Oh, she is here.
Yeah.
So he's missing
Okay.
something then. It was good.
Oh,
it's
that
good.
play is good.
Okay,
Wow.
okay,
I went to
very
the
good.
premiere.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very
But,
good.
but in closing,
Right.
Maria, I wanna ask you this last question. Is there, because we got back to the seniors, is there anything right now specifically that has Maria Chemont's concern as far as this it relates to the seniors of St. Maarten? That you could just say this is something that we need to really look into. I think we have mentioned a lot of stuff, but is there anything specific that we have missed that you would say, you know, we need to work on this for the seniors, you know, as soon as possible or right away then?
I would say first of all, there are two things. Family members need to pay attention to their seniors.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes, that is the biggest problem we have. Because if the family were looking really at the seniors the way they should, interacting with them, doing things for them, finding out what their needs are, we can't dump everything on government. That is impossible.
of
We
course
blame
not,
government,
of
but
course
they ain't government make your family.
No.
That's true.
No.
Government is here to keep law and order and take care, yes, of the country and the needs and meet the needs, but family relations, government
That's
can't
right.
fix it.
That's right.
Yes, so I admonish to all family, younger people, take care of your seniors within your family, because the government and white and yellow class can't take care of everybody. It is impossible.
Correct.
Yes, so do what you need to do to make and love and appreciate your senior, show it to them and caring for them, and don't depend on government to take care of your senior. Some of you are working, you all have cars, still have a senior to the side of the road begging a lift, paying a bus.
correct. That's
So how am I have my grandmother and I have a car and my car pack up, my grandmother go up a business and a hot blaze and so on, and I'm gonna blame the government for that?
Correct.
No, I think I need to find out, Granny, where you have to go. You need to shop, you need to this. Put Granny in the car and go to the supermarket with her and assist her.
Yeah.
Don't not leave. That is not government responsibility. The same thing, they have the rude children up and down the place. They make them, but they are not taking care of those children the way they should, but they're blaming government.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm blaming government for, yes, and need to be done here, and the Minister of Health, we need a family planning back in this place. Family planning.
Yes.
Family
I
planning
remember
has
that.
been dead and done since who was there
Long
is
time.
dead and done.
Yes.
Long time.
Yeah.
Nobody to revive it. And they're talking all kind of things. But these are the delinquents that ended up in Point Blanche, all over the road and doing all kind of things because they made them fathers, left them, turned the back. From the time the woman get pregnant, they gone. You understand? And those children becomes a pest,
nuisance.
a nuisance. You know, it's sad to say, but this is what it is. This is the reality. We need checks and balances. And one of those things they need to do is really get back to that family planning, that some control can be of what is happening when it comes to birthing these children and then neglecting them and leaving them up to society to have to take care of them or not to take care of them, one of the two. You know, so I that is something that is on my mind all the time. Something need to be done.
Well, I'll tell you this, Maria. This program is watched by not just regular people, but a lot of the government officials who watch this program on a weekly basis. So your recommendations have been presented, and they have heard them. They are archived, so they can't say Miss Maria Chemont did not say it, because we're gonna push it to them. If they didn't get the program, we'll send it to them. But again, that is why we do this Interact program, because It is very informative. It's very educational. It gives a lot of advice on different areas. You know, it motivates. It, you know, whatever we have to do, it does. But in any case, so a lot of people are viewing us, and we are glad that we can get someone like yourself with all of the experience that you have to come on and share so much with us. So in closing, Maria, I want to ask you.
I learned a lot today.
What is
I learned not to go on Google.
Yeah, you learned not to go on Google.
Yeah, I learned not to go on Google.
Yeah. You gotta go.
I feel all the symptoms when I go on Google. I say, I gotta sit in the back here. I gotta sit here. And it's not so.
Be careful, yeah. Be careful.
So Maria, and
live, love, and laugh.
That's right.
Exactly.
Love and laugh. And you know, I appreciate that you were very frank about, especially the men and women, the married couple, the husband and wives. You know, and when they go through these type of medical issues, that they can be real with themselves. I heard you sing in the beginning. You were calling some name that I you know, probably for being in the Caribbean, we know that name. You said something about Johnny or
Willie.
Yeah.
That's his name.
That come from no way name
Willie dead.
Sparrow.
So but that's a Caribbean thing. But for those viewers who are from the Netherlands,
they wouldn't understand.
Anywhere in Europe or United States of America, they'll say, "But what is this nurse talking about?"
but the world got smaller, man.
Yeah. So,
and the fact is, sometimes you think they don't know Sparrow, but they know.
Yeah. But
because they're following him.
But they want to know from the nurse Maria, who's Willie? But I wonder who's Willie. And then later down, you said Willie is who Willie is. You know, and in any case, we want to thank you very much.
Thank you too for coming by and having this interview. I feel very honored to be in your program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate it.
You know.
The last thing I heard from Toulon, Pastor Toulon, he said, a good program. Agnes Philippa said, such a very informative program. And Glenford Lawrence, I think you know Glenford Lawrence, which is his mother used to live on the pond side.
He lives in Belvedere.
He lives in Belvedere.
That's my friend.
He said, "Oh God, Maria is so correct. Good night, good folks."
You know, but you can go back and look at it yourself.
Monty boy.
Yes.
That's the boy.
But we want to bring you back on again. And for a matter of fact, I think we would like to have you on as much as possible to bring a lot of information, because there's a lot more we want to talk to you about, Maria, that we weren't able to cover in one program. And so unfortunately we don't have the time. But this is information that needs to continuously be given.
Awareness.
Yes, the awareness, because you know, we listen to it, everybody agrees on the floor, everybody would agree. But at the end of the day, after a week or two, then everyone forgets about this until they hear it again. So just practice. If you keep hearing it in your ear, then it stays in your mind, and then the habit becomes a lifestyle. And that's what we need to promote. We need to promote good lifestyles. You know,
good lifestyle.
Correct.
Live, love, and laugh, my dear.
Live, love, and laugh. Like that.
That's right. Live, love, and laugh.
Gotta put it on there.
Make a t-shirt.
Live, love, and laugh.
Live, love, and laugh. Because life is about living and enjoying and laughing. You know, who wants to get up, cry every day, all day?
Correct,
that don't happen, you know.
Correct.
Not even over the day. They cry for a moment, and trust me.
And then they go on with
After that, they try them tail and they take off.
That's
you ever
right.
seen about this thing in the cemetery?
No.
As much as they love the positive,
It's true, you know. Nobody ever
listen,
said
from the time of cricket says kick, all man running because
Everybody
that
gone.
person coming out again.
It's true. So
let us live, love, and laugh.
That's right.
Life has its moments of ups and downs. It's joys, it's sadness, everything. It's a mixture. But it's how we live it at the end of the day.
That's right.
What we take out of it, that is not going to break us, but it's going to help to enhance us and help us to look forward for tomorrow. Because every day we get up, we see the sun, we say, thank you, Jesus, for this another day. Lord, I thank you for waking me up this morning.
Amen.
You know, that's a blessing on itself.
That's a blessing.
So why not laugh for the sun Look outside and laugh.
You took what I had in my mind out of my head, because I was going to ask you to close with some remarks, and you just said it. But so what we want to do right now, normally we don't always do that. We close off the program ourselves. We want to give you the opportunity to just, in a few words, just say whatever you need to say or you want to say to the people of St. Maarten, where we are at as a country, and the things that come to your mind that you want to see change on for the people in this case. And then we want to close with that. So in any case, Jeffrey and I want to thank you very much for coming on this Wednesday again, live Interact program. We see you on Saturday, God's willing, at 1 p.m. We wish you a blessed evening. Wherever you are, stay safe. And when you say live, love, and laugh, Maria said live, love, and laugh. And so we hope we see you on Saturday, God's willing. So we want to just give Maria the last words to say to all of you. Thank you for joining, and have a good night.
I will say this to our people in St. Maarten. Let us focus on the positive things that are happening. No matter how small it may be, let us focus on that, and let us continue to, when we focus on it, let us continue to build, because that is where the strength are. Our strength is in the constructive and the positive things that is happening around us in this country. We are a young country still growing, and you will never grow completely. It's a slow start, but once we have the right pacing, the positive pacing in life, we will reach our goals as a country. So let us continue to heighten the awareness, especially where our health is concerned, because there's no wealth if you do not have the health that goes with it. So let us stay as a strong, connected people again, and a friendly people, because we are kind of losing that too. So let us try to get that back together again and move forward. Move this country forward in the direction that God wants us to move.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Maria.
Blessings to everyone, and I've enjoyed being part of this program, definitely.
Thank you.